We're pre-recorded. Live from Pasadena, California, the National Broadcasting Company presents the 100th Tournament of Roses Parade, saluting Celebration 100 with your hosts, star of The Cosby Show, Phylicia Rashad, and from Classic Concentration, Alex Trebek. The 1989 Tournament of Roses Parade is sponsored in part by the Florists of FTD, who wish you a Happy New Year and hope you enjoy the Rose Parade. And American Honda, who's proud to be a sponsor of the Rose Parade and invites you to visit your nearby Honda dealer. And by the good time, great taste of your holiday place, McDonald's. And now, we take you to NBC's Rose Parade headquarters. Here are Phylicia Rashad and Alex Trebek.
Good morning and Happy New Year, everybody. I'm Phylicia Rashad.
Good morning, America. I'm Alex Trebek. Happy New Year.
And we are going to be your hosts for what is undoubtedly one of the most beautiful shows on earth, NBC's coverage of the 100th Tournament of Roses Parade.
But this parade is just the opening act of a very special day here on NBC. For those of you who are into excitement, you're going to not want to move your dial at all, because we've got a football triple header coming up later today. Immediately following the parade, we've got the Hall of Fame game, followed by the sun-kissed Fiesta Bowl for the national championship, and then we wrap it up tonight with the Orange Bowl from Miami, Florida. But right now, Phylicia, as you know, the focus and all of the attention of Americans is on this parade, and I can promise you, ladies and gentlemen, that it's going to be an exciting one and a lot different from the first one that the Hunt Club organized January 1st, 1890. They did it as a publicity gimmick. They ran some foot races out here. They had a couple of polo matches. And then they had some flower-bedecked carriages come by in front of 2,000 people. Well, today there are 400 million television viewers who are going to be watching this parade all around the world, in addition to the million or so hardy souls who have come out to watch the parade live along its 5.5-mile-long route. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the local geography, let me give you the setting. Pasadena is a lovely city situated just a little bit northeast of Los Angeles. And the parade route is a fairly uncomplicated one with just two difficult spots. It assembles on Orange Grove Boulevard, and then it has to make a very sharp right turn onto Colorado. It proceeds unmolested, if you will, for a few miles, and then it makes a lazy turn before dipping under a highway overpass. If there are going to be problems, they will occur at this first corner or at the overpass. But we don't want any problems.
We're not having any problems.
This is a special day, and it's a day of firsts, too.
It's a day of firsts. It's a day of many centennial celebrations. It's a day of firsts. Today we're going to have a wedding in the parade.
Wait a minute, a wedding?
A wedding.
Live wedding.
A live wedding.
On one of the floats.
On one of the
Well,
floats.
I hope the two people, and I hope I don't sound like a cynic on this, but I hope they take their vows late in the parade. Because if they take it early, they'll have to spend a couple of hours together, and that's longer than some marriages last year in Southern California.
Stop. We also have, for the first time, a pre-parade show, which we're going to take a look at a little later on. We've got a new record, two new records.
The
tallest
float.
And most people on the float.
And the most people on one float, about 66 individuals on one float. And there's another first that you didn't mention, and that is, this is my first time covering the parade. Now, I grew up watching it in Canada. You're the veteran. Tell me, why are we here on Monday morning, January 2nd?
So we don't have to come on Tuesday morning, January 3rd.
Now, come on, get serious now.
Well, no, originally there were many churches along the parade route, and it was very difficult to conduct services with the noise of the carriage floats and horses and the crowd. And also many people who worked on the parade attended church, so they couldn't work the parade and attend church at the same time. So very early on they decided that whenever New Year's Day fell on a Sunday, they would just have the parade on Monday. It was a very practical decision.
Yeah, they wanted to avoid crowds, but they wouldn't have succeeded if they were conducting the parade today, because we've got just a few minutes to go before the start, and there is a tremendous amount of activity going on. People are moving through the stands, trying to find their seats, and there are some last-minute touches being done to the floats. Hundreds of volunteers are still working. The orchids, the chrysanthemums, and of course those hundreds of thousands of roses are getting their last-minute drink of water.
Yes.
Now, the sun came up here in Southern California about an hour ago. But that really wasn't a factor in determining where people were going to find their spots, because they were staking out positions, as you and I saw yesterday morning.
Yesterday morning.
And they were showing up here with mattresses. Somebody showed up with a generator that powered 2 electric blankets and a big screen TV. And you were amazed that somebody brought a child along
with a portable crib.
Boy, we've got some hardy souls out there.
Very hardy souls. At 1:30 this morning, as a matter of fact, our camera crew was down on the streets getting a look at those True Blue fans. And I'm talking True Blue.
Hi, I'm Kelly from Houston, Texas. Just want to say hey to y'all guys. And only in California can you do something this bizarre and have a wonderful time. Wish you were here. Looking forward to the parade. Y'all, I hope y'all are tuned in to NBC. You got to come join the fun and throw the popcorn and the silly string and the marshmallows, man.
I've never seen anything like this in my life. People sleeping on the streets. It's quite unique.
Hi, Mom. Happy New Year.
My name is Jane Block, and I'm from Rockford, Illinois. And this has just been one of my lifelong dreams to come. And so we've been here now and really enjoying it. It's really great. It's great on TV, but it's even better to be here.
My name's Patrick Tarnay. I'm from Dearborn, Michigan. I'm a diehard U of M Michigan fan. Wolverines #1 all the way in Rose Bowl 1989. And I'm in.
We're actually here to celebrate the first day of the Canada Free Trade Agreement. We have our 2 flags up there, the Canada and the U.S.
This is the place to be. I just want to wish everybody out there a Happy New Year and hope everybody has a safe holiday. Thank you very much. Happy New Year.
You bet it's the place to be. It's party time in Pasadena. The excitement is building up. The bands are tuning up. Our roses are budding up, and we're just warming up for one of the most exciting parades in the world, the 100th Tournament of Roses Parade, live from Pasadena, California, right here on NBC. Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone, to NBC's coverage of the Tournament of Roses Parade. And what you're looking at right now is part of the pre-parade show. This is the first time ever, and it was done especially to commemorate the 100th Tournament of Roses Parade. What?
Citrus College singers and dancers from
The floats in the parade have evolved dramatically in the tournament's 100-year history, from simple horse-drawn carriages to computer-animated marvels of 20th century technology.
Yeah, they are amazing. Let's take a look at some of the recent examples of just how technologically active and mind-boggling some of the entries have become. While reading a book of scary tales, a little girl dreamt up a shy but friendly dragon that stood 35 feet tall when the book was open. When the book was closed, of course, the dragon disappeared. 3 enormous moving circus clowns illustrated that one of the universal languages is indeed laughter. And if you look close enough, you perhaps can spot some 5,000 dendrobium orchids cascading over the clowns' cuffs and collars. Let Us Entertain You featured 4 huge American eagles that struck up a good old-fashioned American tune as children on good old-fashioned bicycles had a wheelie good time alongside. Pardon the pun.
The tallest float ever to ride in the parade route also proved to be a turning point in float animation. This gigantic clown's handstand raised him 62 feet above Colorado Boulevard. A crowd pleaser and a technological marvel. This impressive action tribute to King Kong was also an animated marvel. Kong's Fay Ray lookalike actually controlled the Big Ape's movements with a hidden lever at her side. Certainly reached new heights since the flower-covered buggies of the 1889 Rose Parade.
But as impressive as those floats were, wait until you see what we have in store for you today.
Let's meet this year's Grand Marshal. She was America's sweetheart in the 30s and 40s. She was voted America's #1 box office attraction 4 years in a row. And at 10 years old in 1939, served as Grand Marshal to the 50th Tournament of Roses Parade. The parade's youngest Grand Marshal ever, Shirley Temple Black.
I'd like to know what you remember of the 1939 parade, because I have trouble remembering what happened last Tuesday.
Well, I was 10 years old, and I got up very early. It was dark outside, and I think it will be this time. It was again a Monday, January the 2nd.
Amazing coincidence.
And my favorite flower is the gardenia. So I was seated on a mound of gardenias and roses, and it was the best smelling parade one could be in.
Was it as exciting for you then, at the age of 10, as it is for you now, knowing that this is a unique experience for you? You're probably the only person who will ever have been Grand Marshal 50 years apart.
I guess. Well, I think I perfected my waving technique in the parade. I started out like this, but you can't get enough of the crowd, so you have to do the royal one like the Queen does in Great Britain and do the wide wave to get all of the crowd.
Good for you. You're bringing somebody from your family along this time. Tell me about that.
My 8-year-old granddaughter, Teresa, will be riding with me in the float.
She's been a little hard to contain, I understand.
Excuse me, it's not a float. That was the old days. Now I'm in a buggy.
Oh.
Yeah, well.
This parade is going to be seen all over the world. What does it mean in terms of portraying an image of America?
What it means to me is it's an American tradition. It's very exciting for me to do the 50th anniversary and then the 100th anniversary this year. And it's something that means that the new year is going to be, I hope, a happy and a peaceful one and a good smelling year.
What a marvelous lady. She gets a lot of joy out of everything she does.
It shows, too. Now let's meet the 1989 Rose Queen and Royal Court, a group that came together in late October on the steps of Tournament House here in Pasadena. 7 excited, nervous candidates, but only one will wear the Rose Queen crown.
The 100th Tournament of Roses is Charmaine.
I'm here now with that very happy young lady, the 1989 Rose Queen, Charmaine Beth Schreier. And Charmaine, it's been 2.5 months since you were crowned queen.
Yes,
Have they kept you pretty busy since then?
Very busy. Actually, this week we just hit our 100th appearance.
100th appearance.
100th.
Well, that's appropriate because this is the 100th anniversary
right.
of the parade. Now, does it feel kind of special for you to be the queen in this year?
It feels very special. It marks a wonderful tradition, and I'm really excited about it.
Well, you've had a long association with the parade, I understand. Tell me about that.
Yes, I've lived in Pasadena all my life, so I've been to the parade every year, and I've always wanted to be a member of the Royal Court, so it's really a dream come true. And I've even had a chance to decorate some of the floats, so I know what the parade's all about.
Oh, you know about the hard work that goes into making it such a success.
Right.
I imagine it's exciting for you being the queen with the current princesses. But what was it like earlier this week when you met the princesses and the queens from the years gone by?
It was really fun. I talked to a lot of them, especially the oldest queen, the Queen Holly Halstead Balthus from 1905. And it was just a wonderful feeling getting to know her and being with her, especially on the centennial year.
Did any of the previous queens give you any good tips for the parade?
Not really. They all want me to experience kind of on my own. They say it's a really wonderful feeling, so.
It's a lot
really
different
excited.
being in the parade than it is watching the parade.
Right.
52 degrees at parade site. There was some rain earlier this week, but today the skies are clear and we're going to be able to see everything.
Some of the great camera angles that we'll be getting this morning will be coming from the grounds of the Norton Simon Museum of Art, which is just across from our NBC Rose Parade headquarters. This museum houses a priceless collection that spans hundreds of years. Let's take a look at what was happening in the world of art 100 years ago when the parade was just beginning. Monet's own garden, painted with quick strokes that seem to dissolve and then reconstruct the flowers. Toulouse-Lautrec's pensive study blends the figure into the landscape so completely that the woman and nature seem a single reality. Gauguin's Woman and Boy, in Tahiti, where he found some of what he was looking for in his search for ways to live in harmony with nature. One of Pissarro's most beautiful paintings is a scene reminiscent of Pasadena's own Colorado Boulevard 100 years ago. Vision of a Tree, Van Gogh, painted with the force of nature surging through it.
The Impressionists would love this parade because the force of nature will be surging here again today in all its great floral extravaganza. From art to the start of one of the greatest street parties in the world. The excitement below us is really building up right now, and we'll be back in just a moment for the beginning of Celebration 100, the 100th Tournament of Roses Parade, live from Pasadena, California on NBC. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Alex Trebek with Phylicia Rashad at the Rose Bowl Parade, the 100th edition of this great parade. You're looking at the ending of the pre-parade show, and the parade is just now getting underway. That's the first band in the parade, and it will, in just a moment, make that sharp right turn.
Well, that's it right there. We're off and marching with this. This is the first in line for the Rose Parade. The Los Angeles Unified All-District High School Honor Band, made up of 300 musicians from 49 Los Angeles area high schools. The band is under the watchful eye of music directors Donald J. Dustin and Frank Harris. Most recently, this LA Unified High School band was featured during the Tournament of Roses Centennial Celebration Gala. And they're a fine-looking group, I must say. March on.
They have been rehearsing for about a month in preparation for this day. It's a big band. They sound terrific. Let's listen. As one of the people said a few moments ago, it's great on television, but by golly, it's terrific when you're here live.
Good marching band.
That month of practice has really paid off. Look at how sharp they look. Now, folks, we want you to flash back to 1889 as passengers aboard a vintage 1889 steam engine journey their way towards the first ever Rose Parade. This one is called All Aboard for Pasadena, our first float in the 100th annual Rose Parade, and it comes to us from the city of Carson here in California. The chug-a-lugging train is an authentic replica of an 1889 vintage steam locomotive, and it features various Carson, California dignitaries among its passengers. Now, back in the 1880s, railroad lines used to offer competing Rose Parade packages to increase their business. And a fare war ended up driving the price of a ticket from Kansas City to Pasadena down to, would you believe this, just $1.
The frequent flower plan.
Oops.
The shining brass of this engine is created with spices, straw flowers, and chrysanthemums.
I guess they can use just about anything that grows to decorate the floats, am I right?
It has to be covered with anything that grows, yes.
From steam power to horsepower and the Long Beach Mounted Police riding in the Rose Parade for the 38th time. Marshal Jerry Rout has told us that several of the riders in this group are second and third generation members of the Long Beach Mounted Police, and others are Long Beach area businessmen who have been named honorary deputy officers in the Long Beach Police Department. Boy, how proud they must feel to be riding here today in this group.
And this float is a winner The sweepstakes trophy for the most beautiful entry in the parade. It's Mardi Gras time in this most unusual float from the Unical Corporation. And what a party it was. Well, look, there the sign says sweepstakes ticket. A floral gesture leads a 7-piece jazz band and 18 costume street performers down the Rose Parade route this morning. And all of this is followed by a giant masked partygoer whose headdress will extend more than 26 feet into the air.
Talk about your high hats. Hey, if you're not up yet this New Year's morning, this is going to shake the sleep from your eyes. That headdress, by the way, is made of orchids, stock, and rice, but not long grain. They kind of crush it up and then they glue it on. All in all, 12 different varieties of roses were used on this eye-catching float, and boy, it is eye-catching. Look at that. This is the second year in a row that Unical has won the sweepstakes trophy with one of their floats.
And I'm looking to see this head go up.
It's not going to be able to get under that freeway overpass if it's fully extended.
Here comes the great lady herself, the Grand Marshal of the 100th Tournament of Roses Parade. Shirley Temple Black. Shirley's riding with her 8-year-old granddaughter, Teresa Phylicia, in a car decorated by representatives of the Dutch Flower Growers Association.
Happy New Year to everybody in America, and I hope that 1989 is a super year for America and all over the world.
I was about to say that Shirley's only the 4th person to be Grand Marshal twice. We had Earl Warren, Richard Nixon, and Bob Hope. They had a lot of celebrities in the 30s. Mary Pickford was a Grand Marshal, Harold Lloyd, Kay Kaiser, Leo Carrillo, Shirley, of course, Edgar Bergen, and Charlie McCarthy were also Grand Marshals.
Well, I think she's the prettiest one ever, too. We'll be right back after these messages.
Seen a Grand Marshal from 50 years ago. You've seen a steam engine from 100 years ago. How about a look now at something from a few million years ago? The first parade, which is Laurie Spood's 17th consecutive entry in the Tournament of Roses Parade. Now, this prehistoric work, as you can see, features a band of merrymakers leading a mother and baby triceratops through a primeval forest. Now, it may look mean, but don't worry, because it's a vegetarian. Eats only grass and flowers. At the end of the parade, these two animals will eat themselves. That little baby dinosaur is moving down to a different kind of extinction at the end of the parade route. Last year's Grand Marshal, Gregory Peck, provided the inspiration for our next float, and it's a winner, the Queen's Trophy for the most effective use of roses. It's called A Day to Remember. It's from the Farmers Insurance Group of Companies. Mr. Peck recalled traveling by car as a child from La Jolla in Southern California to Pasadena each year to watch the Rose Parade with his family.
And here we have a return trip to the 1920s as our animated family looks forward to a parade they'll never forget. Gerbera daisies, iris, orchids, and roses are among the materials used to decorate the float. And some 60,000 American Beauty roses cover the car. Now that's putting your pedal to the metal.
I'm so glad you're going to be doing all these flower puns today, Phylicia.
Me too.
I'll do the rough stuff. Well, on this day of New Year's wishes mixed with old year nostalgia, it's really nice to have an old friend along for the parade. Salvation Army Tournament of Roses Band, one of the Rose Parade's oldest traditions. The Salvation Army Rose Parade Band has performed here for the past 69 years, and they're led by director Chris Mallett. Let's listen in.
spotlight with his exotic float from Pacific Mutual and Pacific Financial Companies called Celebrating the Performing Arts. This elaborate scene from Verdi's Aida features Egyptian warriors traveling through the jungle aboard a majestic tiger, a graceful panther, and powerful elephants transporting treasures gleaned from deep within the heart of Africa.
Boy, do we have a lot of treasures on this one. By the way, the rider aboard the lead elephant's howdah is a man named Don Connell. He's the floral director at Festival Artists, and they're one of the main float builders for this parade each year. While another rider won a Pacific Financial Company's employee contest to be here, so he's got to be very, very excited. Well, they packed their trunk, and here they are at the 100th Rose Parade. There's my pun for the day. Pack the trunk, elephant jokes. Elephant jokes, Phylicia.
I got it.
Well, from Africa's elephants and big cats, we travel now to the American Donkey and Mule Society. Don't laugh, folks. For those of you who are not donkey and mule lovers, Marshal Diane Hunter wants you to know that the American Donkey and Mule Society is the only breed registry for donkeys and mules in the world. And boy, don't they look sharp. They've got an international membership numbering well over 3,000. Francis would be very, very proud.
It's a parade of anniversaries. As the Rose Parade celebrates its 100th anniversary, so too does Mount Wilson Observatory in the city of Sierra Madre. This humorous look at the facility's history is called Celestial Celebration and features an early astronomer trying to convince his stubborn mule to carry a telescope up the mountain.
Phylicia, are you into bears? You know the bear is the state animal for California.
Yeah?
Well, there's a curious bear on this float. He's taking a moment to survey the heavens above. And at the rear of the float, as you can see, is a recreation of the present observatory on Mount Wilson. By the way, one of the riders on this float is Ambrose Zarrow. He's something of a local hero. He's known as the Mount Wilson Mountain Man because of his volunteer efforts to keep the Mount Wilson trails clean and safe for hikers. And there's going to be a strong element of conservation tied in with the parade and the floats throughout the morning. So let's hear it for Mr. Ambrose Zarrow. Well, you got a glimpse of it just a moment ago. It's time now for some true American beauties. The Pasadena Tournament of Roses Association. Very proud to present the Queen and her royal court. And we're going to let the Queen and her court introduce themselves.
Good morning. I'm Queen Charmaine Shryack. I'm 17 and I'm from Pasadena. Happy New Year.
I'm Princess Carolyn Beach. I'm 19 and I'm from Pasadena.
I'm Princess Kristen Hansen. I'm 17 years old and I'm from Arcadia.
I'm Princess Tamara Lee. I'm 17 years old and I reside in Altadena.
I'm Princess Raquel Black. I'm 19 years old and I live in Pasadena.
My name is Princess Lacey Endo. I'm 17 years old and I live in South Pasadena.
I'm Princess Heidi Marsh. I'm 17 years old and I reside in San Marino.
Queens and princesses, as you know, Phylicia, have to be between the ages of 17 and 21, I believe. They cannot have been married. They must be single at present, and they must be attending a school in the area of Pasadena. So those are the qualifications for trying out for this. And they had hundreds and hundreds of lovely young ladies try out this year. And these were the lucky few who wound up on the float.
Well, following the Queen and her court, the Pasadena Community College District Honor Band, under the direction of James Arnwine. The band features students from Pasadena City College and local high schools. And this marks the 60th appearance in the Rose Parade for the band and color guard.
Listen to the round of applause. If I remember correctly, last year in the parade, this marching band came by the reviewing stand backwards. And that really drew a great response from the audience.
I was in majorette, and it was a lot of fun always marching parade. So much
Where
excitement.
did you attend school?
In Houston, Texas.
Ah, so you didn't have to deal with the cold weather.
Well, it would get a little cold like this.
Did you date the football hero? No? That came later in life.
Yes.
Well, they're certainly popular with the crowds here. A lot of local folks in the stands. We've got another prize winner coming up, the winner of the theme trophy for most fitting presentation of the theme of this parade. This is by the Eastman Kodak Company. A Rose Queen is forever. That's the theme and certainly the sentiment of this beautiful float. Former Rose Queens are reliving their moment in the sun of New Year's morning as they travel down Colorado Boulevard in an elegant coach drawn by a team of matched black Frisian horses. We have 40 former queens on that float, Phylicia, and I defy you to identify the one who was the queen in 1930, Holly Halstead. All of them look to be about the same age. Look at that. They're all still beautiful ladies.
It's wonderful. It's a lot of royalty there. Alex, you think you have a hard time sitting up here. You think your job is so tough, listening to the band, enjoying the floats. How about Barry Newman down on the street?
Well, how about him?
How about him starring in NBC's new series, Nightingales? Happy New Year, Barry.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year to both of you out there. What a beautiful day.
Is this your first time?
I play the chief of staff of the hospital, and I'm co-starring with Suzanne Plachette and 5 beautiful young gals. We're premiering Wednesday night, January the 25th at NBC. I just want to tell Alex something, that if he has any more medical problems, come to the hospital. I won't even charge him for an office visit, okay? But there's much more fun and floats at the Rose Parade, so right here at NBC, stay with us.
Kodak people who keep statistics on such things and who presented that float with the former queens a few moments ago have told us that the Rose Parade is one of the most photographed single events in America, and you can see why. We've got 2 elaborately decorated herald angels here announcing the words of John, "Rejoice, Jesus is the Christ." And the angels are decorated with chrysanthemums, straw flowers, and carnation petals. And their wings are covered with chrysanthemums, baby's breath, and grape leaves. The horns are covered with yellow straw flower petals, while roses, orchids, and chrysanthemums cover the base of the float. Now, this front angel has blue eyes. The angel facing the rear has green eyes. Where does it say in the Bible, Phylicia, that angels must have green or blue eyes? What about all us brown-eyed folks?
Where does it say anything about the way they have to look at all?
Well, I just wanted to get that in so that perhaps next year, if they depict an angel out there, they'll show an angel with brown eyes.
Okay, I'll ask them just for you.
Thank you. Hey, another great band coming up. Listen to that.
That's right. It's the Strongsville High School Marching Mustangs, a band with a history dating back to 1926.
Hi, I'm Bill Gerke, student president of the Strongsville, Ohio Marching Mustangs. On behalf of the city of Strongsville, Ohio, and Greater Cleveland on America's North Coast, the Marching Mustangs would like to wish you the happiest of New Year's. Thank you.
And do you know how they got here? They had to sell 30,000 hoagie sandwiches at $2.50 a piece in order to finance their trip here. And it was well worth it for us. Well, making their debut in the Rose Parade and in honor of the Rose Parade Celebration 100, the Sheraton Corporation strikes up its one-man brass band. It's a giant clown here wearing a uniform of carnations, daisies, orchids, and marigolds. Now, his colorful makeup, as you can see, is created with carnation petals, spices, and roses. The brass horns, they're covered with chrysanthemums and straw flowers.
There's no horsing around with this group. The Freddie Lee Miller Arabian group from Norco, California. Marshal of the group, Freddie Lee Miller. Ah, look at that.
The equestrian groups do not have to be bedecked with flowers, and I think that adds a different element to the parade, and one that is extremely beautiful and fascinating. Look at this. Why don't we go down south here?
Why don't we? A bit of the South comes to Southern California. The city of Mobile, Alabama, home of the first Mardi Gras, adds some Southern flavor to this float from the city of Alhambra. And this, the 58th year Alhambra has participated in the Rose Parade. Giant tragedy and comedy masks rotate in the center of the float, and costumed partygoers stand in the surrounding gardens, and it is magnificent.
Now, a lot of people think that the Mardi Gras originated in New Orleans, but that's not true, because the idea of Carnival dates back, a couple hundred years to 1703, when French settlers in Mobile decided to continue their tradition of pre-Lenten partying. And just like Mardi Gras today, the early festivals concentrated on 3 wonderful items: food, dance, and song. And we'll be back with some of those elements, more live coverage, right after our NBC stations identify themselves. Wondered how fireworks might be depicted in flowers. Well, the answer is the city of Santa Ana Celebrate Our Spirit float, celebrating 2 holidays in one, New Year's Day and the 4th of July. And this is a Governor's Trophy winner as most outstanding city entry. Flowering fireworks, rockets, pinwheels, skyrockets. And we feature carnations, orchids, roses, chrysanthemums, statice, clover leaves, and rice. What a great way to celebrate the Rose Parade 100th anniversary.
This next equestrian group represents a restaurant here in Southern California called the Medieval Times Dinner and Tournament. The riders are wearing authentic recreations of medieval costumes, appearing as the King of Arms, trumpeters of the castle, the Count and the Countess, guards of the castle, and knights of the realm.
I bet you the specialty of the house is shish kebab.
Probably.
Another bit of nostalgia for our viewers now. The city of Long Beach paying its tribute to Isabella Coleman, who was one of the Rose Parade's most distinguished float builders. She decorated her first float way back in 1910. This one is called Those Were the Days, and it incorporates elements of sweepstakes winning floats designed by Miss Coleman for Long Beach in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. And it features 5 bathing beauties who are wearing 1950s swimwear. My, oh my, how times have changed. And the young ladies, of course, represent Long Beach's royal court.
Accompanying the float are 6 outwalkers carrying long floral gardens. Now, that was a common feature back in the 30s and 40s. The city of Long Beach has won about 25 float awards since 1915, including 10 sweepstakes trophies.
Yeah, those outwalkers really bring back memories of the 30s and 40s in that part of Southern California. Long Beach, Venice, very strong influence of Rome, Italian things, Greek things. Well, here we go. The float from the Big Ten Conference, featuring a drum major's hat covered with mums, strawberries, lentil seeds, clover seeds, and pampas grass. Each member school in the Big Ten is featured on this one. Their school flags decorated with statice, onion seed, carnation petals, lentils, and tea leaves. And Phylicia, when the parade is over, we take this hat, we dip it in a vat of boiling water, and we make some great soup.
And while the University of Michigan cheerleaders are riding ahead on the float, the Marching Wolverine Band from Ann Arbor pulls up the rear, marching proud. See, they are stepping. That's what you call stepping.
This is one of the best marching bands in the country. And obviously a lot of Michigan Wolverine fans here today. Here we go.
That's a lot of energy. That is really great.
has won the Big Ten Conference as many times as Michigan, then your school song becomes well known all over the United States.
The next parade participant in the Rose Parade Celebration 100 features horse and cycle power. We have the Valley Hunt Club and members of Pasadena's Heritage Cycle Club. Among the Hunt Club riders is Poppy Phillips Julian, the great-great-granddaughter of Mary Peck Jardine, who rode in the Valley Hunt Club for the very first Rose Parade.
100 years ago. Well, this is how it looked, I guess, when it all started a century ago. Now, in my research on the parade, Phylicia, I don't recall reading anything about unicycles or cycles of this type. They did have races, and they had those polo matches, but I don't remember these. Well, now, here's something found by many visitors to this area. It's called romance in California, and they may have been inspired by my co-host this morning, because millions of American television fans watched as you were proposed to by Ahmad at a football game some years ago.
You would remember Thanksgiving Day the day after New Year's.
Oh, I have to remember that. Now, look at this. We've had millions and millions of people who watched Prince Charles and Princess Di get married, and I think there are almost as many watching these two people, Carrie Humphreys and Ron Sims, who are actually getting married aboard this float. And the float is from Pasadena's world-famous Huntington Hotel.
The wedding is taking place in the hotel's gazebo, which has been removed from the hotel grounds and covered with flowers for today's wedding. Now that's something.
And it doesn't matter what the setting is, the bride always looks beautiful.
Oh, my.
Well, wait a minute. We're talking passion here. I hope he realizes that he's going to be on that float in full view of 1 million people for the next hour and a half. He's getting an early start, isn't he?
Yeah.
He must have been partying this morning or something. Maybe he's nervous. The president, in selecting bands to perform in the parade, tried to pick a number of them who were having similar centennial celebrations. And like today's Rose Parade, the city of Yokohama in Japan is celebrating its centennial this year. And the 150-member Kanta Gakuin Marching Band commemorates that occasion with its second appearance in our parade.
Giant storyteller brings fairy tale characters to life in Rotary International's 10th Rose Parade entry. We have Hansel and Gretel walking through the forest to the gingerbread house as Little Bo Peep's sheep and the 3 little pigs dance alongside the magical float.
Now, the storyteller wears a colorful costume of carnations, gladiola petals, tea leaves, and marigolds. And that gingerbread house is decorated with straw flowers, redwood bark, mums, and flax seeds. And its thatched roof is made of straw. The marionettes wear costumes of carnation petals, mums, seeds, and spices. Now, I don't know if they have an award for it, but this is definitely the best-smelling float in the parade. And we'll be back with more exciting floats, more equestrian groups, and some super bands right after we pause for these messages. Tournament of Roses Parade. Alex Trebek along with Phylicia Rashad. I'm making my first appearance. Phylicia, you're making your third appearance. And the band in front of us right now is making its second appearance. 200 members of the Huntington High School Blue Devil Marching Band from Huntington, New York.
Conrad International's dramatic Rose Parade entry is a salute to the efforts towards world peace. Stylized stars and stripes flow from the wings of a giant American eagle, while an olive branch surrounds a rotating globe at the back of the float. And riding this tribute to world peace are Mrs. America, Minnesota's own Jennifer Klein, and Mrs. World, Pamela Nail from Mississippi.
Two marvelous M's. This is a striking float. A young man operating it inside is named Mark, and he was showing us around the other day. They hadn't put the head on the eagle yet, and it was terrific even at that stage. Look at the detailing on that, the hours and hours of work that the people must spend working on these floats.
And they're all volunteers, you know.
Yes. Those are the doves that came off the wedding float a little while ago. These are the same doves they used, by the way, at the opening of the 1984 Olympics. These birds have got a great life. They work every 4.5 years, and that's it. Here's another crowd favorite, Phylicia. The miniature horse group with entries from all around the state of California.
Oh.
Now, these are really miniature horses. They're not ponies. They are true horses that have been bred down in size since the 17th century. Now, at first, they were used as pets by European royalty, and then they were brought to the United States to work in mining operations in the 1800s. Let me give you a tip. You must never bet on a miniature horse in a race unless the jockey is very, very small. Just a friendly tip for you as we start 1989.
Well, thank you. And here comes the float from China Airlines. The international trophy for most beautiful entry from outside the territorial limits of the United States. This year's float represents the Chinese Lantern Festival, a time that marks the traditional end of the 15-day Chinese New Year's season. That's the colorful guardian lion, the symbol of good luck in Chinese legend. And it's surrounded by spinning lanterns and parasols. The lion is decorated with mums, roses, carnations, orchids, and camellias. The lanterns are decorated with lunaria, strawflower, and carnation petals. The deck of the float is covered with roses.
Riders, well, they happen to be members of a renowned Chinese opera group in Taiwan.
We'll be right back after these messages.
The Michigan Marching Band, well, now it's time for the Pac-10 float. And what else but a football? And the Rose Bowl trophy is center stage on this float, saluting Pac-10 Conference champion USC and the other member schools of the Pac-10. Riding high on the float, we've got members of the USC cheerleading squad. They'll have a lot to cheer about later today. Football is made not of pigskin, not horsehide, but mums. And if we have the Pac-10 float, can the marching band be far behind?
Not too far. And there it is, the USC Trojan Marching Band under the direction of Dr. Arthur Bartner.
You listen to the cheers that come up from the crowd when this band gets right beside us.
Here they are, turning the corner.
They all do it in a similar manner, but they have their own way of negotiating that acute angle.
Yes, they do. That was a mess, huh?
Tommy Trojan, you see him whenever USC scores. And a lot of people here are hoping that USC scores often this afternoon. Tommy Trojan runs around the track. And the band plays this theme. happy about for this parade today, Phylicia, is the fact that these band members look forward to this event each year, and the weather couldn't be better. You know, it hasn't rained on a parade since 1955, and look at it today. They get to strut their stuff in this beautiful sunshine of Southern California. Typical sunglasses, too.
The city of Los Angeles marks its 78th consecutive year in the Rose Parade with a salute to the centennial of its Recreation and Parks Department with floral replicas of some of LA's most famous city parks. Included on the float are the Griffith Observatory, the Los Angeles Zoo, and the Rose Garden at the Exposition Park under the watchful eye of the LA Coliseum.
Yeah, and we've got the koala bears there. They have a beautiful koala pavilion at the zoo. And if you're wondering why the bird of paradise is featured so prominently on this float, Phylicia, it's because it's the official flower of Los Angeles. All right, Phylicia, I want you to get serious now and give me an order. You got it.
This is the U.S. Army Ceremonial Unit, B Troop, 4th Cavalry. They're from Fort Huachuca, Arizona, and they promote the heritage and tradition of the U.S. during the 1880s. And according to the Marshal, Robert Phillips, group members devote 20 to 40 hours a week in practice, force care, demonstrations, and parade participation like today's Celebration 100.
Passing on orders, it looks like. That's it. Getting a little salute from them. Well, here's a gem for everyone. It's from the Arco people, an 1890s turn-of-the-century barnyard coming to life as some mischievous aviators display courage and a lot of showmanship. Look at that. We've got barnyard animals, spectators, and a farmer watching as this nostalgic celebratory event brings joy to their rural town. And the pilots are actually controlling those planes. They're doing it all. They're banking, climbing, and rolling. By the way, the airplane pilots and wing walkers are under the direction of the world-renowned stunt coordinator, Bob Yerkes. And boy, he must have worked with these people for a while. Isn't that exciting? Each year, they try to outdo themselves in creating new floats, and they've come up with a dandy here. Shades of 1930s and the wing walkers. That's the kind of plane I want to buy. I want to do some aerobatics. And if I could convince you to do some wing walking, you think we'd make a good team?
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt.
Somehow your heart didn't seem to be in that one, Phylicia.
You caught that, did you?
Yeah, I caught that.
Well, this has been a bull market of a parade with excitement rising as the morning goes on. And who better to celebrate a bull market than Merrill Lynch and Company's first Rose Parade entry, another first. A salute to the heritage of America called Celebrating a Tradition of Trust. The float features floral replicas of the Liberty Bell and the U.S. Constitution, while fife and drum marchers march at the front of the float.
Like this famous painting. Liberty Bell is decorated with straw flowers, marigolds, poppy seeds, and mums. And those individual letters of the Constitution are covered with poppy seeds and seaweed. Great tribute here, celebrating a tradition of trust. It's good to be patriotic on a day such as this. This is the Bethlehem, Pennsylvania's Freedom High School Marching Band's third appearance in the Rose Parade. And the band members raised $120,000 to make the trip to Pasadena.
I'm drum major Matt Reed, and I'd like to thank everyone who made it possible for the Freedom High School Patriot Band to participate in the 100th anniversary of the Tournament of Roses Parade. It's a very special honor to be here. Happy holidays to everyone back in Bethlehem.
This is the first band we've had in truly traditional costume that dates back a couple of hundred years, and it's appropriate following that last float.
Reach out and touch some harmony. GTE's second Rose Parade entry is the winner of the Isabella Coleman Trophy Award for the most unusual and unique entry. It features a tranquil forest scene where animated butterflies, Chinese ducks, and a nesting pheasant live among morning glories, water lilies, and cascading orchids. Decorated by more than 300 volunteers, the float features vines covered with orchids and roses, and butterflies decorated with marigold petals, straw flowers, statice, onion seed, and seaweed. The birds were created with straw flowers, lentil seeds, statice, and croton, and it is really beautiful. Greg Evigan plays the struggling artist Joey Harris, and one of the two fathers in the NBC series My Two Dads, making the season premiere a week from Wednesday, January 11th.
She decorated with flowers, too.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
How you doing?
Who have you got with you today?
Well, I got the family here. This is my first Rose Bowl parade, and definitely their first, right? This is your first? Well, we're really proud to be here for this first 100-year celebration of the Rose Parade. So stay with us, okay? There's going to be a whole lot more coming right here at the parade headquarters, NBC. You want to say anything? You want to say hi to Grandma? Grandpa? Hey.
So what do I get if I beat you, Merlin?
The Carrollton High School Marching Trojan Band. Band member Scott Kaufman, who lost the use of his legs in an automobile accident a year ago, is traveling in his first Rose Parade in a wheelchair. And he's playing, too.
It's another double anniversary celebration on the parade route, and the winner of the tournament's special trophy, awarded for exceptional merit not recognized in any other category, as Seed World marks the Rose Parade centennial as they celebrate their 25th anniversary with this delightful float called, appropriately enough, Jump for Joy. We've got graceful dolphins and the world-famous Shamu, the killer whale, soaring above a rainbow of coral beauty. Swimming below the colorful ocean paradise are penguins, sea lions, walruses, and sea otters. SeaWorld's first Rose Parade is definitely making quite a splash with some of the kids on the parade route.
Oh, yeah, everybody loves the killer whale. Oh, look at the spout. He just spouted. I'm getting a big kick out of this. This is bringing out the kid in me. Coming up now, we've got a spokesman for our country's conservationists. Marshal Iron Eyes Cody from Los Angeles, who's leading this next group of equestrians. All the riders are from California, except Bismarck, North Dakota's Linda K. Lupe, a White Mountain Apache who was Miss Indian America in 1988. Here's an opportunity for us to admire the fascinating and the wonderful Indian beading on these costumes. It certainly rivals the beauty of a lot of our floats, but look at this. Singapore Airlines and the Singapore Tourist Promotion Board. We're a month away from celebrating the end of their new year, or their Year of the Dragon, but what a way to see the year out. Singapore's 7th Rose Parade entry. It features that elaborate dragon. That's the symbol of goodness, nobility, and vigor. Celebrated in Singapore with the famed dragon dance. As a matter of fact, the dragon heads that are used by the dancers were brought from Singapore for this Centennial Rose Parade. And leading the dancers, we have the bearer of the pearl, who uses a whistle to tell the others when to change their movements. The pearl, well, pearl controls the course of birth, death, and rebirth. Riding aboard this terrific float are 2 Singapore Airlines flight attendants and Miss Singapore. Lovely young ladies. Look at the smoke coming out of the dragon's nose, too. Trick roper Monty Montana, joined by Marilee Montana and Trudy Young, Miss Rodeo America. Now, Monty Montana is making his 55th Rose Parade appearance. He's perhaps best known, I suppose, for some people will remember when he roped President Eisenhower in the 1953 inaugural parade in Washington. Hope he doesn't have his eye on any one of us up here in the booth. I don't think his rope would reach this far. Do you, Phylicia?
I hope not.
Oh, he's after somebody on the street. Policeman was jaywalking? No?
So what's new?
Wait a minute, how are you spelling so? S-E-W, right, I got it.
How about members of the Rebecca's organization quilting their way down Colorado Boulevard? Here, 2 doves lift a quilt depicting celebrations around the world as members of the Rebecca's continue to add new panels down the parade route. The doves are decorated with a mixture of white mums and carnations. The detailed panels are created with marigold petals, carnation petals, clover seeds, and rice. The gardens at the base of the float are decorated with roses, carnations, iris, orchids, marigolds, and mums.
An unforgettable picnic will be coming up soon when we return with more of the 100th Tournament of Roses Parade, live from Pasadena. Provided by North Dakota's Centennial Marching Band, and they're leading us into this Humor Trophy winner. The guests are gone, the hosts are in bed, but as far as the animated animals on this float are concerned, from the La Cañada Flint Ridge Tournament of Roses Association, the party's just begun. 1 kitten has discovered the colorful party favorites, and 3 merry mice are joining in on all the fun with horns, streamers, and we've got a pair of chattering false teeth apparently left behind by a toothless partygoer, at least toothless at this time. The entire float was designed, constructed, and decorated by volunteers from the city of La Cañada Flint Ridge. And that's unusual because so many of these floats are constructed by firms which specialize in doing that. But this is all volunteer work. And congratulations to La Cañada Flint Ridge. Look at the whiskers. I wonder what they were made of. Formed in 1983, California's Swirling Sands Mounted Drill Team. They've performed at numerous rodeos as well as the 1984 Olympics. And this group was even featured in a recent episode of Murder, She Wrote. So swirl them, gals. They actually look warm. They're not feeling the temperature at all. And right now, well, the temperature's up to 61 degrees, ladies and gentlemen. Trying to make you envious around the country.
A New Year's Day picnic was what this family of bears had in mind, but things didn't seem to be going according to plan on the Burbank Tournament of Roses Association's aptly named Unforgettable Picnic. Papa Bear is tangled in his own fishing line.
Well, he's got a nibble of sorts, but it's on his foot. Mama Bear back there is battling ants. And while Mom and Dad are distracted, Sister Bear takes the family car for a quick spin around the woods. While Brother Bear, look at him on the left side, he's just reached puberty, obviously. He's off in a secluded corner with his girlfriend. And through it all, Grandpa Bear is managing to catch a few Z's. Those bears again, you can't get away from them in California. Well, the largest band in today's Tournament of Roses Parade, ladies and gentlemen, is coming up now. The 384-member Duncanville High School Marching Band out of Duncanville, Texas. And how did this 384-member band make it to Pasadena this year? Well, they did it by raffling one car for the tidy sum of $54,000.
What kind of car was it?
Well, it had a radio and it had air conditioning.
The Duncanville High School band, silver flags, and hi-hats have been built with determination and pride. It's those qualities that have allowed us to achieve the great honor of marching in the 100th annual Tournament of Roses Parade.
Well, this band, these are champions. They were Cotton Bowl Parade of Champion winners since 1979. And they were in Europe recently for the London Easter Parade. So they've been around. They're good.
Now, this young girl is the star of her own parade, and the neighborhood pets are determined to join the fun. From the Cal Poly Universities, this float, called Parading Around, was conceived, designed, constructed, flowered, and funded by an all-volunteer workforce of several hundred students from the Pomona and St. Louis Obispo campuses. Half the float was built at each campus, and the St. Louis Obispo portion travels 240 miles to Pomona's Rose Float Lab at Thanksgiving to be joined at the Tulips.
And it's none the worse for wear. Look at this. Isn't this fun? The Cal Poly students always have a marvelous time with their floats for the parade. And that's when they're not involved in hijinks at the game itself, as you know.
Well, who better to give us a feel for the action on the street below than Kent McCord, TV's former 1 Adam 12 guy.
Yep, he's now the star of a new NBC series debuting Friday, February 3rd. It's called Unknown Subject. And Kent, Colorado Boulevard looks very familiar to you, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I grew up not far from here in the San Gabriel Valley, and cruising Colorado Boulevard looking for a spot to watch the Rose Parade was a New Year's tradition for myself and my friends. But today I brought my family along with me, my wife and my 2 daughters and son. And believe me, it's just as much fun today as it was back then.
Well, wait a minute.
We'll be right back with more live parade coverage right after our stations identify themselves.
Big 4-0 to 6 WDSU.
To NBC's live coverage of the 100th Tournament of Roses Parade. I'm Alex Trebek, and this, of course, is Phylicia Rashad. We're having a marvelous time here. Temperature has just moved up into the 60s.
And coming into view is the entry from the city of Glendale, whose participation in the parade dates back to 1920 and is one of the longest-running entries in parade history.
There's always a great deal of support from the surrounding communities, Phylicia. All of the neighboring cities seem to build a float, and this one is truly magnificent. You've got the excitement of children at play here. It's called A Great Place to Celebrate. And you can see the giant carousel horses flanking the colorful scene where children steer bumper cars around the floral track. And we've got that roller coaster on top. Are we going to be able to see it move, I hope? Well, I was hoping my native land would be represented today, and here comes a musical entry from Canada. It's the Ontario Masked Legion Pipes and Drums out of Meaford, Ontario. Pipes and Drum Corps wearing Scottish Highland dress, while the color guard wears the uniform of the Royal Canadian Legion veterans. The music, of course, traditional Scottish bagpipe. Let's hear it, Canada.
It's a real crowd pleaser.
Scottish pipe bands are very common in Canada. Not so much, you don't see them quite as often here in Southern California, so when they make one of their rare visits, they usually get a good round of applause from the people lining the parade route. And because of this free trade agreement that took effect yesterday between the United States and Canada, they were allowed to come into the United States duty-free. I'm getting silly, I know. Skiing interview, one of the parade's longest entries today, the 105-foot-long float from the Casablanca Fan Company. They always come up with something special. This is called Americans Rootin' and a Tootin'. Now, this spectacular Western celebration features a Western scene in a lively mining town where some of the more daring residents, and you're going to see them in a moment, trying their luck at skiing down the snow-covered rooftops. Is it going to work? One person is getting some encouragement. Here we go.
Oh.
All right.
Oh.
Crowd pleaser? You better believe it.
That life-size mock-up of a ski jump was built in Lake Tahoe last spring so that the daring young men on their flying skis could practice months in advance.
By the way, folks, these are professionals. Do not try this at home, even if your father sets up a ski jump on your roof. Don't worry, folks, we're going to take a commercial break, but you won't miss anything because we're coming back with more live coverage here on NBC. Back to our parade, folks. We promised you wouldn't miss anything, so watch this. A forward somersault. All right.
It's graduation day at Maryland School of Knowledge, and a special day for this educated dragon who's about to receive his diploma on that whimsical float from Burger King. The proud dragon demonstrates his tail-rolling skills for his instructor, who waits to give him a special treat.
Well, the company sponsors the Education Enriches Everyone program, Phylicia, which provides scholarships to American students, and some of them can be seen on today's float, so I want to commend them for that. Beautiful float and a wonderful cause as well. Look at the colors on the face of that. Happy-looking dragon. Always a crowd-pleasing group, the Western Riders, with Marshal Linda Baum of Arcadia, California, leading the pack.
All right. It's the Mayor's Trophy Award winner.
Yeah.
For most originality of design in their full presentation. The circus. There's our trapeze artist there.
Now, this is one of the floats you mentioned at the beginning of our show. First here, we've got the tallest float ever. It's over 70 feet tall, and it's supporting that lady in the trapeze up there.
This giraffe is 70 feet tall. He's on roller skates.
Well, no wonder he's so tall. If you weren't on the roller skates, you'd only be 14 feet tall. He'd go under the freeway overpass. This has got a unique support structure which allows this mechanical giraffe to stabilize in that upright position. To go under the overpass, of course, he's got to put his head right down.
Let's hear it for the acrobats.
This is Carnation's 6th Rose Parade entry, and they had their first ones way back in 1932 and 1933. So they've got a long tradition going. And they're coming up with exciting floats. It's always precarious performing on a trapeze above a net or in a circus when you're not moving. But this young lady is on a float that is moving, so there are wobbles, there are shakes up there. You wouldn't catch me up there.
This is the Martinez family out of Muraloma, California. The family rides in 8 parades each year with sons Octavio and Benny Jr. showing off the rope tricks taught by Benny Sr.
Ah, now here's something to whet your appetite and mine. Food, a sweet sight fresh from the oven. And the Rose Parade formation area, too. 2 bakers deliver a giant tray of party treats for the Tournament of Roses Centennial Celebration. This is sponsored by the Bakery, Confectionery, and Tobacco Workers Union. And the bakers are covered with gladiola petals and silverleaf. And riding on the float, the Kentucky Derby Festival Queen, Christina Levy. Even when the food is made up of flowers, I love it. I love pastries, treats.
This is the 5th parade visit of the Arcadia High School Apache Marching Band, a school located just down the road from today's parade route. Under the direction of Tom Landis, the band won top honors in the Music Olympics band competition and performed for the Duke and Duchess of York during a recent visit here to Southern California. Cast member of one of my favorite NBC shows, A Different World, is about to join us on the street below. She's Charnel Brown, Whitley's roommate. How you doing?
Hi there. Hi, Phylicia. Fine. This is great. I just moved out here from New York to be in A Different World, so this is my first Christmas and my first New Year's. My first holiday time in Southern California and my first Rose Parade. And this beats those cold New Year mornings in Brooklyn. Now stay with more of this hot, hot parade. The 100th Tournament of Roses Parade, live on NBC.
Well, we've got a double first here. General Motors and the United Auto Workers celebrate milestones in technology and transportation in this, their first Rose Parade entry, and the parade's first float ever sponsored jointly by a corporation and a union. And it's a great entry. Won the anniversary trophy for best presentation of life in the USA. By the way, the chassis was assembled in Detroit.
Let the Good Times Roll is the name of this entry from Dr. Pepper and 7-Up. This lucky bowler has reason to celebrate as he rolls strike after strike. The ball hits the lane, the pins fall to the pine, and the crowd raise their arms to cheer him on to victory. Yes!
What happened to those famous splits that I keep coming up with? This kid is good. Flowers used to decorate this boldly over float include mums, roses, carnations, marigolds, vanda orchids, daisies, straw flowers, lentils, and lunaria. Well, now, here's a school marching band coming our way with a tradition as beautiful as the uniforms they are wearing. This is the Kamehameha School's Warrior Marching Band, representing Honolulu, Hawaii. And the only school marching band that raised funds to come to the Rose Parade through a jogathon, a luau sale, and, would you believe this, Phylicia, a pig sale. That's right, they sold some pigs, raised some money to be here. This is a very young band. They look very serious. Now we're getting some beautiful smiles.
Centennial celebration continues as Home Savings of America, in their Rose Parade debut, celebrates its 100th anniversary with this beautiful float, Holiday Housewarmings. Family and friends gather to celebrate the new home, a two-story Victorian set amidst a winter wonderland of whirling Christmas trees. Merrymakers dash through the snow on two horse-drawn sleighs and skate on a frozen pond, a pond that is 1 ton of real ice.
Now, most of the riders on this float work for the float sponsor, but there's one person who doesn't, and I want to point her out right now. I hope we can get a shot of her. She's in that lead sleigh. There she is, Lottie Hicks of Alhambra, California. And later this month, Lottie will celebrate her 104th birthday. She was 4 years old when they had the first Tournament of Roses. And she said that for her birthday this year, she wanted to ride in the parade, and she got her birthday wish. Happy birthday, Lottie. 104. Isn't that amazing?
Wonderful.
Well, don't look now, partner Phylicia, but I think we got ourselves some horsemen heading our way. This is the Western group sitting high in the saddle, and they're led by Dio Rogers of Nuevo, California. Most of the other cowpokes are from California, too. But then there's Mark Allen of Bayside, Queens. Mark Allen, who must have taken a wrong turn at Hoboken, I guess. But look at those horses. In terms of costumes on Western riders, this is probably the most colorful group we've had come through here this morning.
Here is the winner of the Princess's Trophy. Best achievement in floats 35 feet and under in length. And
this is the one your daughter loved. Remember, she was so excited over seeing this lion?
She loves lions, and he's giving us a roaring New Year's greeting. This is from the International House of Pancakes. Those 7 children riding in the float are participants of the LA Unified School District's DARE program, Drug Abuse Resistance Education.
Well, good for them, and good for IHOP, celebrating its 30th birthday. And we're going to be back with more exciting floats right here live from Pasadena on NBC following these messages.
Welcome back to the 100th Tournament of Roses Parade. 2 American traditions, the 100th celebration of the Tournament of Roses, and the Los Angeles Music Center celebrates its 25th anniversary. This is an elegant record-setting entry for the first interstate bank called Let the Celebration Begin. The front section is a salute to opera, drama, and dance.
"66 people on this float. More than that number in this band coming up, ladies and gentlemen. Wearing the official Marine Corps dress blue uniforms, the composite United States Marine Corps Marching Band, a favorite of Rose Parade watchers for 40 years. The band is made up of Corps members and musicians from El Toro, San Diego, and Camp Pendleton. Get it. Well, we travel now from a 3-piece float to a 3-ring circus as a trio of elephants leads the way for this entry from Golden State Foods Foundation, appropriately titled Here Comes the Circus. Animals and wagons are the features of this colorful circus parade.
The float also features 9 children who have successfully battled cancer and are today enjoying the Centennial Rose Parade. The Ronald McDonald Foundation was formed in 1983 solely for the purpose of providing homes away from homes for families and children being treated at nearby hospitals for cancer and other critical illnesses.
Well, a trumpeter sounds a triumphant note as fireworks swirl around him in this 71st Rose Parade entry from the Portland Rose Festival. Now, the Portland, Oregon Rose Festival is held each year from mid-May to mid-June, so they have something in common with us. The festival's grand floral parade is second in size only to the Tournament of Roses parade here in Pasadena. And perched atop a mountain of roses, Kelly Manning, 1988 Portland Rose Festival Queen. Well, now, folks, look up in the sky. What do we have here? It's a balloon, and it's filled with helium, and it's Superman, celebrating the Rose Parade's 100th birthday and his own 50th birthday this year. Superman rises 100 feet in the air, and this is the first decorated balloon to appear in a Rose Parade. The decorations are all dry material. They needed it to be dry in order to keep it light, because if they had regular flowers, the moisture would have weighed Superman down, and he might have not have made it into the sky. Sort of a Rose Parade version of Kryptonite, if you will. American Honda Motor Company is the sponsor of the super-inspired entry called Truth, Justice, and the American Way.
I heard a rumor that at the end of this parade, he's going into a giant telephone booth to change into Clark Kent.
We've got 25 balloon handlers working on Superman, and they are members of the women's UCLA crew team.
We'll be right back after these messages.
Live coverage of the Tournament of Roses Parade, the 100th edition. And as Phylicia mentioned earlier, the Rose Parade celebrates its centennial, but so do several organizations and several states, including the state of Washington in the great Northwest. And representing Washington is the Auburn High School Marching Band.
Hi, my name is Marcy Smith, and I'm the president of the Auburn High School Marching Band. As Washington State Centennial Ambassadors, the band wishes New Year's greetings and welcome to join Washington State in their own centennial celebration.
Riding high in the saddle are the Sacramento Ladies Mounted Patrol, members of the Reserve Sheriff's Deputies of Sacramento. The group was organized back in 1945, but disbanded in the early 80s. Well, they're back and riding with a vengeance, winning 10 first prizes and 4 sweepstakes awards in 1988 alone, with 14 first prizes the year before.
Looks like we've got some beautiful Appaloosas there. Well done, ladies. At this stage of the parade, about an hour and a half in, the people who line the parade route are really into it. And they're talking to the participants in the parade. And they're shouting back and forth across the street, starting all kinds of little competitions, keeping their interest high, keeping the excitement level very high as well. One of the first we didn't touch on, and you saw a man in the crowd there a moment ago wearing glasses. I don't know why he's wearing them here, because he wouldn't have a television screen, but there's a local TV station in Los Angeles that is doing this parade in 3D. But you've got to get the glasses.
You've got to have the glasses.
Got to have the glasses. You know, NBC has been doing this parade in color since way back in 1954.
Drive up and order your music selections, because here it comes, the 104-member McDonald's All-American High School Band, with representatives from all 50 states, the District of Columbia, the Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico.
No onions, please. Here are those glasses I was talking about a little while ago. Sure look weird when you're wearing them, don't you? You've got one eye staring out there. You know something? The people in the stands here are sitting here with their programs, and they're looking down at the lineup of the floats and bands in the parade. And every once in a while, a float doesn't appear where it's supposed to, and that's because there's been a problem back there on Orange Grove Boulevard. But there are more than 800 volunteers who work for the Tournament of Roses Parade, and they try to keep things organized. And the president of the association, John Bigger, is carrying on a great tradition. He's responsible for all of those and in charge of those people. But he is president this year. His father was president in 1958. So this thing keeps going on and on. Families grow up with this tradition, and it works, and it's fun.
It's great.
And it's what?
Great.
I thought you said it's free. It is free for us, yes. There's someone looking through his program, trying to figure out, well, where is that float? I'll tell you where that float is. It's just now coming around Orange Grove Boulevard onto Colorado. And it's another winner.
It's a winner. The President's Trophy for Most Effective Floral Presentation goes to FTD. This year's entry from the Florist Delivery Association is 100 Years of Flowers on Parade. The turn-of-the-century wagon is similar to the horse-drawn buggies that made up the very first Rose Parade floats. The gardens are filled with various flowers, including more than 45,000 roses.
Very appropriate that FTD should win a prize with this float. Amazing to see all the flowers arrive the week before the parade itself. We've got flowers coming in from Oregon. We've got flowers coming in from Washington, from California, and from Hawaii as well.
The Marlboro School, an independent college preparatory school for young women here in Pasadena, is celebrating its 100th anniversary this year, too. And here we have the school's Centennial Equestrian Group led by Claire Porter Eichler of Los Angeles.
The 1989 Tournament of Roses Parade has been sponsored in part by...
Go, and we will also.
This has been a great morning, a great day. Lots of fun, lots of music, lots of color, lots of flowers. And now the thousands of marchers, float builders, float riders, and volunteers can take that well-earned deep breath and a great pat on the back, knowing that they've given the world a memorable New Year's Day after send-off.
New Year's Day after. That's tough to say, isn't it? Well, it's been fun, Phylicia. We saw some knockout bands, some beautiful equestrian groups, and some record-setting and breathtaking floats. It was a great parade, and if I have to say it, I will. She looked great on her 100th birthday. All that's left to say for us is Happy New Year, and a reminder once again to stay with NBC, ladies and gentlemen, because we've got that great Championship Monday coming up for you, that triple header of football. We've got the National Hall of Fame game coming up from Tampa, Florida. We've got the Sunkist Fiesta Bowl for the national championship, Notre Dame against West Virginia. And then we're going to wrap it up later today with the Orange Bowl game featuring Miami against Nebraska. All of that coming up today right here on NBC. It's been a fun morning for me, and I've enjoyed working with you.
And I've enjoyed working with you. Happy New Year, everybody.
Let's make it a date to do it again next year. See you then.